Hey, you have reached the finish line in the POP series, Prevention Over Prescriptions. And so we want to, so if you stay to the end of this video, we'll do another clap for you graduating from the POP series on how to prevent over using prescription drugs. POP series, Prevention Over Prescription. And so we thank you for tuning in. Our very last episode is on how do you become addicted to opioids, what effects opioids have on your life, and most importantly, the final, how you can prevent opioid use, misuse, and dependence. And so we'll go through all three. And so first, starting with how do you even become addicted? And so in the last episode, we shared some terms for you. You might have heard the difference between withdrawal and addiction and dependence and all that. So we'll talk about how do you become addicted to opioids, and hopefully you all never had that problem after watching the POP series. Also, how opioids affect your daily life and how it might change you forever. And also the most important ways to prevent opioid use disorders and misuse. And so we'll start off by talking about how do you even become addicted from opioids? So over time, your body gets used to having this good feeling sensation of calmness and soothing and no pain, and it feels terrible without it. And so that's what a withdrawal feels like. And with withdrawal, it makes you feel like you have the flu, but a lot worse. Hopefully not like corona, but a lot worse. And it'll make it hard to stop taking the drug, and you want to return to it because you know what feelings your body is used to those feelings, but it's an awful feeling to have. And if a person starts seeking and taking opioids despite how it's interfering with their work or their school or their relationships with their friends, that's when it comes an addiction. So it's important to know how anyone can become addicted to opioids, and it doesn't matter where you live or how smart you are or how fast you can run on your track team. There's no way to predict how opioids will affect you and how you can become addicted. How do opioids affect your life if used wrong? Well, if you're addicted to opioids, the drug can take over your whole entire life. Getting more opioids and getting high may be all you might start to think about, honestly, and it makes it hard for you to enjoy some of the natural things that most humans enjoy to do, like going to concerts, even your 16th birthday or quinceañera. Those things don't make you feel happy anymore. So can you really imagine if things you love no longer made you feel happy? I know for me, I'm a shopping queen. And if I couldn't go shopping and that was something that I didn't want to do anymore, I would really know if something was going wrong. So therefore, how could you just stop all those things that made you happy just for one feeling? And you have to keep taking them to keep that feeling right. And so you know it's affecting your body because we talked about the short and long-term effects. I think shopping's a little better than that, don't you think? We talked about us going to concerts and those feelings that we love to do, right? Well, can you be a pop star, a prevention over prescription star today? Well, prevention efforts are out there for the taking for the next pop star to get ahead of. One being National Prescription Drug Take Back Day. So too often, unused prescription drugs find their way into the wrong hands and become a really big problem in our communities. So National Prescription Drug Take Back Day addresses a critical and crucial public safety concern and a public health issue. The second way to be a pop star is for you to find a year-round drug disposal location. They're brought to you by the DEA. You've heard of them, more like the FBI or the CIA. Well, they're the Drug Enforcement Administration, and they provide tools and GPS locations for you can locate a drug disposal in your neighborhood close to you. And there's one final way to being a pop star, and you get double points for this one. Okay, now that's drug disposal or keeping it locked up from your little siblings. Now, you need to make sure you're mixing it with something to inactivate it. So there's sometimes activated charcoal that people brush their teeth with, or even use coffee grinds or kitty litter. Then you want to seal it up in a non-leaking bag before you're putting it in your trash. And also, if you want to flush it down the toilet, that's something you might want to check on the back of the original packaging for the medication to check the instructions to see if that's something you can do. You don't want to clog up the toilets, right? The other option is to also lock it up. And so keep it out of arm's reach from little kids, or make sure it's away from your friends when they're visiting in local areas where maybe everyone convenes in a certain bathroom as guests. Make sure that it's kept locked away to prevent from anyone who's not the authorized person on the bottle's name to make sure they're not using it. That is a wrap, pop stars. We appreciate you tuning into the very last episode of Pop Prevention Over Prescription. We want to thank everyone who tuned in for this short 5-minute 3-series episodes. We appreciate you tuning in and wanting to be a pop star. I'm Celene. I had the pleasure of sharing a little bit of information from my public health background and giving you an inside look on what it is about opioids that keeps us going as public health professionals and you as a pop star to choose prevention over prescription. Take care. I wanted to leave you guys with some data points, the hard, stone cold facts about opioids. And according to the Centers for Disease Control's understanding of the epidemic, an average of 130 Americans die every day from an opioid overdose. More people die from opioid overdoses than from any other drug. Unfortunately, in 2018, there were 10.3 people aged 12 or older who misused opioids in the past year. The vast majority of people misuse opioid prescription pain relievers. And we also have some surprising facts that might shock you about teen misuse on prescription opioids. So the misuse of prescription opioid medications among teens has dropped significantly since 2002. Did you know that? When it comes to it being first measured in 2002, this past year in comparison for 2019's misuse of Vicodin and Oxycontin among 12th graders is at a record low, dropping from 9.6% in 2002 down to 1.1% in 2019 for Vicodin. Amazing, isn't it? And 4% in 2002 to 1.7% in 2019 for Oxycontin. Let's see what 2020 gets us.